In today's video, we're diving into an intriguing incident from 2008 in Iowa, U.S. Detectives initially thought it was a typical car accident, but they soon realized it was anything but ordinary. The police cracked the mysterious case surrounding Michelle Davis, a 41-year-old woman, all thanks to crucial CCTV footage that unveiled what truly transpired. Michelle Ann Cosner was born on December 15, 1966, in Iowa. Fast forward to 2008, she was living in Des Moines with 3 children, on the brink of a new chapter in her life. Michelle was almost through with her divorce proceedings, eagerly anticipating a fresh start. She had moved into a new apartment and obtained a restraining order against her husband, Randy Davis. Their family had a turbulent relationship in the years leading up to the divorce. Michelle was known as a friendly, active individual who adored adventures and motorcycles. Her workplace, a trucking company, respected her and granted her authority. On Thursday, September 11, 2008, her co-workers noticed a remarkable change in her demeanor after parting ways with her husband. It was as if a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. On that fateful day, Michelle left work around 4:30 p.m., having completed all her tasks and in high spirits. Shortly thereafter, 911 started receiving distressing calls about an accident on Interstate 235. Michelle's Mercury Sable was overturned, with her unconscious in the driver's seat, still strapped by her seatbelt. Tragically, paramedics couldn't save her, and Michelle Davis passed away. Initially, the police presumed it was a vehicular accident caused by Michelle losing control of her car. However, forensic experts refuted this theory the following day. They discovered a bullet wound to her head as the actual cause of death, ruling out the accident hypothesis. The investigators, unfamiliar with such cases, proceeded with sending the bullet for examination, hoping it would shed light on the criminal. As they awaited the ballistic examination results, the local authorities took measures to ensure the safety of the community. They contemplated the possibility of Michelle being a random victim, worrying that the shooter might target others. The city was put under increased patrol to mitigate potential risks and solve the case swiftly. With the realization that Michelle's demise was no accident, detectives combed the crime scene for any potential leads. Their efforts initially bore no fruit, as they found no cartridge case or other incriminating evidence. The assumption of a car accident at the outset had led to the site being cleared by traffic services, potentially erasing vital evidence. Undeterred by these challenges, the detectives persevered and turned to the footage from the traffic cameras. Modern-day CCTV cameras have been instrumental in aiding law enforcement. This case was no exception. Equipped with traffic camera recordings, the investigators meticulously examined them. Their first objective was to locate the footage from the nearest camera to the crime scene and rewind it to the moment people started alerting 911. Half an hour later, they struck gold, finding the video depicting Michelle's overturned car. The footage's quality was quite poor, resembling more of a slideshow with alternating images and intervals. Unfortunately, it only offered a few essential shots, none revealing what caused Michelle's car to overturn. This was disappointing for the investigators, as they believed they were close to a crucial clue, only to find it was a false lead. The police had no choice but to press on, reviewing other camera recordings and searching for potential eyewitnesses. Meanwhile, the investigator in charge of Michelle Davis's case visited her family to convey the grim news that her death was no accident, as initially assumed. Learning that Michelle was a victim of a crime shocked her family deeply. Michelle's mother, Patty, had passed away long before Michelle's life ended. Her father, Michael Lee Cosner, now faced the loss of his second daughter. The pain of outliving one's children is the most agonizing experience for any parent. The investigator heard from Michelle's family that her life had been gradually changing. Financially, she was stable. However, they suspected that the only person who could harm Michelle was her husband, Randy Davis. The divorce was nearing finalization, and Michelle had taken a restraining order against him. Simultaneously, another detective visited the company where Michelle worked to speak with her colleagues. This is how they discovered Michelle had a close relationship with a man named Matt Jorgensen, a colleague of hers. According to Michelle's friend, the feelings between them were mutual, but they had kept it a secret due to her ongoing divorce proceedings. The police now had two potential suspects, Randy Davis and Matt Jorgensen. Attempts to contact Randy were in vain, as all calls went directly to voicemail. However, when they spoke to Matt, he cooperated fully, providing an alibi for the day of Michelle's death. He revealed details about their romantic relationship, stating they never had any disagreements or fights. Matt was devastated by Michelle's death, and his alibi checked out, removing him from the list of suspects. When the results of the ballistic examination arrived, revealing the weapon used was a .22 caliber rifle, experts deduced it was a close-range shot. Given that this happened on the interstate, the police believed the shooter was likely in another car driving alongside Michelle's. At the same time, a new suspect emerged in the case. The police received a call from the insurance company reporting that Michelle's brother, Todd, was making a claim under her life insurance. Crimes committed with the motive of obtaining life insurance payouts aren't uncommon. Could this case be one of them? Was Todd capable of taking his sister's life for financial gain? The investigator visited Todd's place to ask some questions. Todd quickly realized the police viewed him as a suspect when they started questioning where he was when Michelle passed away. He explained his activities on that day. Todd revealed that their family was struggling financially and couldn't arrange a proper funeral for Michelle. Consequently, he approached the insurance company to get funds for her funeral. The police verified Todd's whereabouts and found he was in a different part of the city when Michelle tragically lost her life. Hence, Todd was ruled out as a suspect. Yet Todd provided crucial information to the police, leading them to another potential suspect, Michelle's stepson, Josh. When Michelle married Randy, he already had a son from a previous marriage. At the time of Michelle's death, Josh, a Marine who had recently returned home from the Army, was an adult. He possessed knowledge of handling weapons, making him a suspect. The police began investigating whether Josh had motives for the crime. Simultaneously, another lead emerged when a woman reported her experience driving on Interstate 235 at the same time as Michelle's car accident. She mentioned seeing a red pickup truck, likely a Ford F-150, whose driver exhibited unusual behavior, swerving between lanes as if chasing someone. The driver was described as an adult white man wearing a baseball cap. This information sparked the interest of investigators who delved into the footage from traffic cameras, focusing on locating the red pickup truck. The footage indeed revealed a red pickup truck tailing Michelle from her workplace. However, due to the video quality, identifying the driver or the license plates was impossible. Subsequently, detectives examined footage from various cameras, confirming that the red pickup truck followed Michelle's route closely, hinting at a deliberate act. Considering the suspects, detectives honed in on Michelle's husband, Randy Davis, who owned a red pickup truck. They promptly went to Randy's residence. Although Randy was absent, his son Josh was present. As a Marine with expertise in handling weapons, he could have had access to his father's car. Josh informed the detectives that on the day of Michelle's death, he went shopping with his sister and returned home to spend the evening watching TV. He also shared details about the challenging divorce process between Michelle and his father, involving property division. In another account, Josh's dad returned home around 5:30 p.m. that day, but Josh's explanation seemed unconvincing. Moreover, this talk hinted at a potential reason for his involvement in the incident. Josh seemed upset because his stepmom wanted a share of his father's assets during their divorce. However, these were just assumptions with no concrete proof. Lack of evidence meant no arrests or charges. As Michelle's family prepared for her funeral, the police intensified their search for new leads. Their investigation led them to visit various shops and gas stations along Michelle's route from work to where she met her fate, hoping for additional surveillance footage. A store a few miles from her workplace held a crucial piece of evidence. On the fatal day in 2008, a red pickup truck, registered to Randy Davis, pulled into the store's parking lot around 4 p.m. The challenge was identifying who was driving, Randy or his son Josh, who also had access to the truck. The grainy footage made it difficult to ascertain the driver's identity. The driver went into the store, but due to the poor video quality, it was impossible to tell if it was Josh or Randy. After a purchase, the person returned to the pickup and drove away. It's important to note that all of this happened at 4 p.m., half an hour before Michelle left work at 4:30 p.m. As the police delved deeper into the footage, they observed the pickup truck appearing near the store multiple times over the next 30 minutes, but the driver never got out. It conflicted with what the cameras showed and didn't match what Josh said. Josh mentioned his dad came home around 5:30 p.m. Randy, however, claimed he was home all along since 3:45 p.m. and they had cooked dinner together. This contradicted Josh's statement to the investigators, where he said he was already home when his father arrived. The alibis of the father and son were interdependent. Upon further conversation with Randy, investigators suspected that one of them was being untruthful. To gauge Randy's reaction, the investigators revealed that Michelle's cause of death was a bullet, not injuries from a car accident. This was known only to Michelle's family as the police had not made it public. Randy hardly reacted to this news, feigning surprise and avoiding eye contact. When asked about the last time he saw Michelle, Randy requested a lawyer, effectively ending the conversation. The investigation lacked the murder weapon and substantial evidence for an arrest, resulting in Randy's release. On September 15, 2008, 4 days after Michelle's passing, her family and friends gathered for her funeral. Randy was there, attempting to show his grief. He even shed tears at some point. However, the question of who was truly responsible for Michelle's death remained unanswered. The investigators were struggling for answers. Unexpectedly, the breakthrough came from Josh Davis. He walked into the police station with his lawyer, ready to provide a statement. According to Josh, when he came home from his sister's, he found his father's car parked in the driveway. As he entered the house, he saw his father holding a gun. Randy suggested he leave, revealing his sinister intentions. Josh, sensing the danger, pleaded with his father not to take irreversible actions. Despite Josh's efforts, Randy left in the car. Upon his return, he parked the car in the garage and confessed to Josh. Randy was deeply upset over Michelle's decision to divorce him and claim part of the property. Unable to cope, he took a drastic step. On September 11, 2008, Randy parked his red pickup truck outside Michelle's workplace, waiting for her to finish work. He circled the place multiple times, fearing he'd miss the right moment. This explained his presence on the store's CCTV footage several times. After Michelle finished her work, he followed her. When the time was right, he rolled down the window and shot at her, as per Josh's statement. Randy Davis was later arrested by the police based on this account. He faced serious charges for causing harm to Michelle's life. However, before the trial, Randy made a deal and pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of causing harm. Consequently, 53-year-old Randy Davis was sentenced to 50 years in prison in 2010. His admission of guilt meant there wouldn't be a trial. This caused a sense of not fully achieving justice, but there was closure. Michelle's brother, Todd Cosner, expressed his feelings about the situation. He stated, "I loved Randy. He was part of my family for 17 years. I cared about him." However, he also emphasized the destruction that Davis had brought upon their family. Subscribe for more cases like this.